Climate Change. Prophecies and Revelations. Given to Luz de Maria. Today we live the consequences of climate change throughout the whole planet. Changes in the weather are drastic and man suffers the consequences already. What we are living is just the beginning of what is the triggering of a series of events that not even scientists were expecting. The effect of this climate change is irreversible, there is no going back, regardless of what measures are taken in this instant. Continuous natural disasters are increasing on a global scale, so much that recently in France there was a meeting held to figure out how to mitigate the environmental impact, product of a science without a conscience that has been promoted and implemented by economic interests, lacking in all human and spiritual sensitivity. The severity of the current situation is reflected in the groups of scientists seeking how man can survive with environmental contingencies. They have already accepted the irreversibility of the change, the result of the irresponsibility of humanity, who acted without thinking about the effects of its actions. What is being lived today and has the scientific community and the governments of the world alarmed, is the same thing that heaven had already mentioned to us in advance years ago. Forewarning man that he would face the force of nature, before which human beings are insignificant. Our Lord Jesus Christ, January 21, 2016. My beloved people, the waters of the ocean will stir, and in their fury they will invade the land. Volcanoes erupt with great force, the tree that would bear fruit will be like the dry fig tree, the plant you harvested in March will be harvested in September. Rivers will cease being so abundant, the threats from heaven will be constant. Scientists will warn about celestial bodies that are drawing near to the Earth, and so the scientists will be the very ones to corroborate my word. The Blessed Virgin Mary, January 18, 2016. Pray, my children, pray. Drought is spreading, and with it, famine will wreak havoc. Luz de Maria relating with the message of our Lord Jesus Christ, December 31, 2016. Christ showed me so many events in which the elements water, earth, fire, and air almost forced by the human wrongdoings, in their incessant search for harmony with God, creator of all that exists, look for man, and this is how water will enter the land with force, scourging beyond the coasts, dividing countries, and emerging lands that were buried in the sea. I saw winds blowing with force destroying along the way everything man possesses, and wind united with the water demolishing cities. Great volcanoes will enter in an unusual activity, just as the increase in earthquakes and great earthquakes. I saw the warning as a waking up of souls for some and the falling of the souls who will not accept this act of divine mercy as something coming from heaven. I saw the sun darken, I cannot assure the year but I felt the proximity. This does not mean that I am saying that this will happen now, but I felt the proximity. Our Lord Jesus Christ, the 11th of December 2015. When you see the mountains shake and the plains crack open, when the winds devastate villages in places where this never happened before, when the land shakes where it never shook before, nature behaves in unusual ways throughout the whole world, and the animals have changed their behavior, the rivers flatten villages where that never happened before, torrential rains undermine the land, inactive volcanoes wake up, asteroids and comets are ever more frequent, thunder and lightning contain increasing power given to them by the contamination with which man has made nature react uncontrollably. Our Lord Jesus Christ, the 2nd of November 2015. Climate changes tirelessly. Climate is altered by man who, in his desire to be God, has touched the finest fibers of my love, my mercy, my truth, and my justice. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, September 21, 2015. Instants are coming of wonder at the power of nature and at the foolishness of man who manipulates nature, causing tremors in one place or another, producing storms in one place or another. Now you understand, my children, you understand why nature wants to return the earth to its creator. Man has manipulated everything possible without thinking about the consequences, and he will bring them upon himself sooner than expected. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, 9th of September 2015. Men of science have been able to create mechanisms with which they think they can control nature. What man does not know is that, when he tries to control what he has created, he will not be able to do so, and that his creation has unleashed tragedy, such as earthquakes, because some of them are caused by man. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, August 19, 2015. Science used for evil has interfered with nature. This has been kept hidden from you, my children, but my angels will come to help you, you are not alone. The evil that man wants to cause will not always happen. My Son protects his people, and that's why he calls you to remain faithful to him. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, May 27, 2015. Nature, as a creation of the Father, does not cease to warn you, and because of this, each instant, and with increasing frequency, humanity undergoes nature's batterings. Creation remains within the divine will, and wishes to bring mankind closer to complying with that will, instead of just being an inert spectator. Mankind will continue to suffer, since Earth continues to shake with increasing force as so much innocent blood is spilled over it. Our Lord Jesus Christ, May 20, 2015. Woe to those who do not see that the earth receives men's sins, it is the earth that receives the blood of my martyrs cruelly assassinated. It is the earth that receives man's vexations, and it is earth that clamors to me justice. And I have allowed nature to react against sin in order for humankind to wake up. Our Lord Jesus Christ, 6th of May 2015. At this instant that this generation is living, the signs and signals are prompt and plentiful. It is from a distance that you see your brothers suffer at the hands of nature, however these events approach all countries in the world. Our Lord Jesus Christ, April 30, 2015. The weather cannot be forecast because the seasons are not marked as in the past. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, 2nd of April 2015. Nature, the work of the Father's hand, rebels against man, and man will suffer for this. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, March 14, 2015. Calamities are happening with more strength and more continuity, so much so that a nation will not be able to help another nation. The volcanoes awaken, nature does not recognize the man who does not act in agreement with the divine will. The oceans will move, invading the lands, washing away the sins that man has spilled on the land. The sun will dim and my children will be surprised. Nothing in nature will ever again be like in the past. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, February 23, 2015. The weather will whip the whole earth, where there was sun, now there will be cold, and where there was cold, there will be heat. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, 3rd of February 2015. Nature is coming closer to man for him to wake up before so much evil that surrounds and takes possession of mine. The volcanoes speak to man. Our Lord Jesus Christ, January 24, 2015. Children, the water penetrates the earth and my children suffer, the weather will change even more. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, January 21, 2015. Nature has awakened and continues to wake up in a series of events that man will not be able to determine, nor does he have the capability to stop it. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, January 14, 2015. Is this not apocalyptic? Is the rage in man not apocalyptic? Is climate change not apocalyptic? Are the solar flares not apocalyptic? Science has an answer to it all, and my beloved sons the priests must use reason fused with the Spirit to guide my sons' people with wisdom so they won't sin anymore. Our Lord Jesus Christ, the 4th of January 2015. Nature has awakened and man will suffer. The inactive volcanoes will become active, great disasters will invade the earth, they have taken power from the evilness in man that attacks his God, killing the innocent and rising against the gift of life. The seas will cause pain to humanity. The conduct of man against my will shall make him suffer the consequences of his misuse of science, when this scatters like the wind, leaving its trial of pain in each human creature that it touches. Our Lord Jesus Christ, the 3rd of April 2014. The climate will greatly astonish man with its unexpected change, the earth will not cease to move. The expected events are upon the earth. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, the 11th of September 2014. The elements will scourge with greater force, being a wonder to man, in the face of such radical variance in climate. The sun will cause great calamities for humanity. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, October 29, 2013. Learn to see the signs of the times. Nature has caused the weather to be unpredictable, the fury of nature surpasses that of the past, all the world will shake and the countries with coastal zones will suffer the most. Our Lord Jesus Christ, June 28, 2013. The climate will be a constant unknown for you that you will not be able to be sure of how it will remain. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, September 19, 2012. The climate will scourge all the earth, varying its normal and natural condition everywhere. Wake up, for creation calls to you. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, July 18, 2012. The instant continues rapidly, ceasing to be an instant. The earth thirsts for water and water comes upon it. What I have announced to you clearly, has been fulfilled, the seasons are not the same, the weather has varied noticeably, instants will come in which you will feel as if you are being burned by the sun's rays, and instants in which the sun will be obscured, and you will feel the cold penetrate the innermost depths of your bodies. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, January 30, 2011. Beloved, do not be directed by the climate. At this present instant, the sun hides and gives way to the cold, and the cold gives way to the inclement sun. Our Blessed Virgin Mary, November 13, 2010. The climate is only one reaction of this sickness. Creation is like a body, and as such it is contaminated and reacts to the saturation of toxicity that man, instant to instant, deposits upon it. The climate will never again be constant, man has burst and broken the seasons worldwide. Our Lord Jesus Christ, August 20, 2010. Man cannot predict the seasons exactly, the weather will never be the same. Fire will come out of the earth causing great astonishment. Our Lord Jesus Christ, the 1st of November 2010. Water is no longer man's ally. Where there is desert, there will be water. Evidence of climate change. Now, with the passing of the years and the increase of scientific and political interest in climate change, the data, support and evidence of climate change, global warming, is more and more clear. Obviously there are powers interested in maintaining the status quo, in trying to hide the reality, in belittling, and even ridiculing the danger and the problem that we face as a society and civilization. Evidence of climate change and global warming. Now, the Earth's climate has changed throughout the history of the world. Just in the last 650,000 years there have been 7 cycles of glacial advance and regression which ended with the abrupt end of the last period of glaciation 7,000 years ago, that also marked the beginning of the modern climate era and that of human civilization. Most of these climate changes are attributed to very small variations in the Earth's orbit and which changed the amount of solar energy Earth received. The present tendencies of global warming are plenty significant because, most likely, they are induced by people and their activities and, more alarming, they are happening at a rate that is unprecedented in the last 1,300 years. Rising global temperatures. Satellites in orbit and technological advances of simulation, of models and other advances have enabled scientists to see the problem better and obtain a broader idea of the situation and the process, using global data already, to obtain a global view of climate change. There are certain facts and evidence that cannot be denied or argued about the planet's global warming. Carbon dioxide and other gases trap heat, a fact proven in the 19th century. Their capabilities to influence in the transfer of the infrared energy in the atmosphere is the same scientific base of many instruments designed by the Jet Propulsion Laboratory (JPL), such as AIRS. An increase in the atmospheric levels of CO2 must result in the increase of the Earth's temperature. Ice cores extracted from permanent boreholes in Greenland, the Antarctic and glaciers of tropical mountains, show that the climate responds to changes in energy emitted by the Sun, the variations of the Earth's orbit and the levels of greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere. Another aspect of this evidence is that it shows that strong changes in the climate have taken place in a short amount of time from a geological point of view in a matter of decades, not millions or thousands of years. Ecological disaster. The evidence that we are experiencing a rapid climate change includes increase in sea level. The global sea level has increased 17 centimeters in the 20th century. The increase of the sea level in the last decade is almost twice as much as the last century. Increase in global temperature. The three major reconstructions of Earth's global temperatures show that the Earth has warmed since 1880. Most of this global warming has occurred since 1970, with the 20 hottest years occurring since 1981 and the hottest 10 in the last 12 years. Although the 2000s have been affected by a decline in the emission of solar heat, with its minimum between 2007 and 2009, the temperatures of the Earth continue to increase. The oceans rise in temperature. They have absorbed most of the increase in heat. The upper 700 meters (2296.58 feet) of the oceans show an increase of 0.302 degrees Fahrenheit since 1969. The ice plates decrease. The plates in Greenland and Antarctica have declined in mass. Arctic ice decreases. The extent and thickness of the Arctic ice has declined rapidly in recent decades. Regression of the glaciers. Glaciers worldwide are regressing, including the Alps, Himalayas, Andes, Alaska, Africa and other places. Extreme weather events. The number of events of extreme heat temperatures in the United States has increased, while the events of extreme cold has decreased since 1950. Acidification of the oceans. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the acidity of the surface waters of the oceans has increased by 30%. It is the result of the absorption of the atmospheric CO2 that has increased due to human emissions.